Good morning, everybody, and welcome back to the channel. Today is Friday, and that brings with it the David Astle puzzle in The Age and the Sydney Morning Herald. I have not done a full solve of one of these on the channel before, just on account of their difficulty, but I'm going to give it a try today and hopefully create something useful, meaningful, entertaining, and not too error-strewn. I think in principle, if I can do that, then DA's crosswords make for great entertainment. So without further ado, let's break in. I think I've got a bit of a time limit today as well, of about an hour, so fingers crossed we can at least make some headway. So one across. I'm just going to double check you can see everything there. I think you can. Wrongly took leader down to keep pace with hierarchy. Wrongly took leader down to keep pace with hierarchy. Yeah, I'm not so sure. There's a few things that might be going on there. One down. High country's tip-top baloney. So baloney, I think, might be the definition. Trash or something like that. Don't know. Let's try 9 across. Club 2 developed severe style implicating China. Implicating China. No, it's not coming together there. Well, let's have a look at 11, although it's a long one. 564. Triathlon, a novelty event. Right, so this is a good clue and not too hard. This is three-legged race. So a triathlon is a race with 3 legs, and a novelty event is a three-legged race. So that's a nice start. Let's try this with a G. Pen center of stencil grey. This is encage. So the center of stencil is ENC, and to age is to grey, and encage is to pen. So 10 across. Andrew gets a Canada liqueur. Well, a scoundrel could be a cad. That comes up quite a bit. A Canada, in quotes. If I'm assuming that it's going to be a liqueur. Question mark is never promising. Come back to that once we've had a look at these. Did I look 6 down? Each point conveys 1 gem. Each point, NSEW, conveys 1. Maybe point is conveying as in moving on, the letter I for 1 is pont. Gem, don't know, 7 down and 24 down. Spun Uncle Ho, merch as arcade classic. So I guess Pac-Man springs to mind. I'm going to put that in. Is that 2 words? I think it's probably right. Let's see if I can understand the wordplay. Uncle Ho merch. Well, I don't know this reference, but I think the whole thing, spun is saying that something's being turned around. So Pac-Man backwards is Nam Cap or Nam Cap, and I guess Uncle Ho is a reference to some historical figure or reference to Vietnam, and so a Nam Cap would be Uncle Ho merch. So I'm going to back myself on that one. That's a C here, which is a little surprising. What was that again? Scanner gets a Canada Yeah, so maybe that is AC. Well, cognac doesn't fit. Scoundrel could be a con. A cur. Cur could be a scoundrel. I'm not sure if that just means dog, or it can also mean a scoundrel. Is that a thing? I'm not sure. Let's try 8 down. John noticed my colleague offers unfinished business. John noticed my colleague. My colleague could be one of the initials for one of the other setters in the crypt in the age. Offers unfinished business. If we have unfinished business, we have a score to settle. John. Is John like loo, as in the toilet? Loose. Yeah, it is. Loose ends is unfinished business. So John is loo. Noticed my colleague offers unfinished. So seen is noticed. My colleague is DS, and that's one of the other setters in the age. So that's tricky if you're not an age devotee. Bit of a looker, one with class. There we go. So pupil is something that looks, and a pupil is one who has a class. 6 down. So we're doing well up in this corner here. This is useful. Each point conveys 1 gem. So my thinking is each could be per. In fact, maybe per is around the outside, and it's conveying as it's holding a word for 1. And the whole thing means gem. Oh, hang on, but I'm forgetting the point. Damn, missed the point. Let's see if we can get the final letter. That would help a lot, I think. Well, tax song. I think this song might be in the sense of a bargain. I got something for a bargain. Steal. Then, and tax could be obviously a tax, or it could be to tax. To burden. It's not really a song, is it? It's not a word for a song, right? Carol, tune, an air, an aria. I'm not sure. 12 down. 12 down. One thing with DAs is you probably don't want to waste too much time on a clue until, it's best to try to cold solve them quickly if you can, and then use the letters that you get. Health policy to dress chief alpha. A in case of incontinence, I and E. So the health or health policy would be the definition, I think. Or, in case of incontinence is quite possible as well. It's just that's an obvious indication for the I and the E of incontinence. So, as I said, let's stick with solving ones that we have some more help on. 26. Head abolished uniform during spring. So I think we're looking for a word for spring. Wow. I don't know this word. Is that a word? Bonce. Seems unlikely that it is, so I don't know it. And 13 down, ending in B is unlikely, but my thinking there was to spring is to bounce, and if we abolish the uniform, the U for uniform, we get bonce. Oh, maybe it is a word for your head. Actually, that's warm. I'm warming to that. That sounds vaguely familiar, and the B on the end would be useful actually, because it should make this easier. State cut hitch in outstanding item. Not sure. Let's try 23. Insincere mate involved with none. So just mate and none as an anagram. Unmeant. Unusual kind of word that, but unmeant is an anagram of none and mate and means insincere. Yeah, that's interesting. That U would pair with this if this was an M. I thought of the word thumb actually, but I don't think I could see why that would. An outstanding item could be an L or an R. There's quite a few things, I guess. Still not certain of bonds meanwhile, so let's not labour too much on that. Let's try 17 down. Fit to pulp pine ash. So that's in shape, just an anagram of pine ash. It's being pulped, and to be fit is to be in shape. 16. So far actually this is going pretty well for a DA. Check on home twice. So this is going to be in, which means if you're home, you're in. We want another word that means home, I think, and the whole thing will then mean to check on or to check. To check on, to drop in, to look in. Don't know. 13. Appease via drink swilling, usually. Well, it's almost an anagram with the swilling there. Via drink 8 letters, but that doesn't make sense because then appease and usually wouldn't each have a role to play. No, I'm going to pass on that for now. Let's try 18. It's over here. Boozer's breaks say for booze. Another reference to alcohol. 15 down. Varied, thrilling, outright, gripping chart topper. So, thrilling, gripping chart topper. Varied, outright, gripping chart topper. It seems like it should be thrilling without the letter R, outright, which makes thrilling, and either that's rearranged to mean a gripping chart topper, maybe that is what it is. Don't think I see that. But also gripping chart topper seems to mean it's containing the letter C, the topping letter of chart. But then you would have too many letters. So maybe you need a word for thrilling, a different word for thrilling without its R, and the whole thing means varied. Okay, don't know, 20 down. Let's come back around. Stages, crafts, or cycles. That seems like it should be straightforward. Probably ending in an S. Seems like maybe just an anagram of stages. S-T-A-G-E-S. Sorry, A-G-E-S. I'm not sure. 27. Confirm that S there. Model strode out of bounds to use keyboard. I was going to say stereotype, but it's not that. But it might be. So to use keyword is type. Strode out of bounds. Is a prototype. I mean, that seems. I thought this was an S, but I don't quite see if this works though. I'm going to leave that. Also, the O there is unlikely, and there. I think type is going to be the end of it there. Grammar topic showing 14 across, which we don't know. Could be tense. Fairly probable, I suppose. 25 across. Squash book, not back covers. Yeah. I'm pretty sure that's going to be on. And it's going to start with a T and it means squash. Not completely. Oh, maybe. Oh, yeah. Well, is book and read tread on? Seems right for squash. Is it tread? To tread? I think that's right. Book, not back covers. Not sure. This Y here. Well, this is the long answer that so the Y may not be as useful. Although three letters in that final word there. An apple a day is the health policy. So to dress Chief Alpha in case of incontinence. Good grief. And what am I? Well, lead would be chief. Maybe. A is alpha. So we're going to dress lead A with a case of incontinence, which is a nappy. Wow, okay, a case of incontinence is a case for incontinence, which is a nappy. Gosh, imagine trying to cold solve that. But yeah, I'm pleased to have gotten it, and that confirms type almost certainly. Did I do 18? Yes. Boozer's break safe for booze. Well, boozer could be the pub, I guess. Still not really sure though how that's going to come together. 19 would be useful. Green state adding to subpoena I've tended. Well, green state adding to subpoena I've tended. Oh, this could be a hidden actually. Yeah, it is. This is naivete, which is a green state, a state of being green. And subpoena I've tendered has inside of it naivete. Very nice. So what was this one again? Squash book. Well, yeah, I mean, it really looks like tread on. Not quite understanding why book and read are the same. Still not convinced that's correct. This, and that was based on this being tense. Could be something else with an N there, but it looks likely. I'm not sure if we looked at 21 across. Much better to skirt the email pile-up. Yeah, I mean, the T at the end would seem likely, I guess, with it, probably. Much better to skirt the email pile-up. What is this? 8, 10, 15, 5. Wow. Oh yeah, to skirt the email is 15 letters. That's being piled up in a different arrangement. Much better. We've got all the letters we've got makes sense, I think. I, E, and S. Are there two I's? There are two I's. Okay. Like is in there, so this could be like it. Much better. That's in there? Yes. Oh, how many T's we have? Skirt. There's only 2, so we don't have that. Well, surely that's more like it. Oh wait, no, we do have another T in the T here. I forgot the TO. So that's more like it is much better. Awesome. Well, yeah, this really looks like thumb now, doesn't it? Maybe that's an expression I don't know. We'll come back to that in a second, I think. I'll take another, well, let's come back to it now. State cut hitch. Well, yeah, it's a hitch is the thumb. So that is definitely right. An outstanding item. So we need state cut at the beginning here, and then the whole thing will mean I think that's right. It stands out like a sore thumb, right? So state cut. I think so. Is this a homophone indicator? State is saying say a word meaning cut. To saw, yeah. So to saw through something, S-A-W is to cut, and we're going to misspell that as if we'd overheard it and misheard it as a different word for S-O-R-E. So sore thumb, which is a outstanding item. 16. Check on home twice. Ring in. To home in on something is a thing, but don't know. Do not know. Two down has an A on the end. Usually useful, even if it might still be difficult. Heritage listed property. Oh, I didn't look at this before. So heritage listed property is 524. Which is going to be Tower of Pisa, I think. So a listed, the Tower of Pisa obviously leans, and to lean is to list. So a listed property would be the Tower of Pisa. If whether the heritage is doing something particular, I don't think. I think it's just like the whole thing. The Tower of Pisa would be a kind of property of heritage significance, and it's also one that lists. So I want to get this one. This is annoying me. Where's it gone? Sorry, 18. Boozer's break. Oh no, check on home twice. It could be this. In to check. There we go. Nice. To check is to rein in. On is re, and then home twice is in and in. So beautiful. And this F here, appease via drink swelling usually. I think soften up would work. There's appeasing, it's not exactly softening up, but how would this work? Via drink swelling, yeah, so to drink is to sup, and that is itself swilling or drinking the word often, which means usually. So there we go. I'm amazed how smoothly this is solving today. 3 down. Fleeing fog chemist is collected by comrade in chopper. Okay, fleeing fog chemist is collected by comrade in chopper. Well, comrade might be red in the communist sense. A chopper, anything that chops basically, so a knife. But there's a lot of other words here to think about. Is there a possibility of a hidden here? I don't think so. Maybe chopper is the definition. Comrade could be other things, like a friend or a pal or an ally. But yeah, I'm still left with fleeing fog as well to deal with. Fog. No. Let's have a look at 9 because it's got a W in it. This was the club. This is interesting because club 2 I thought might be, or 2, TWO, being developed would be an anagram of 2, and with the W here that adds weight to that. It could be TOW implicating and a club. It's 4. Sorry, it's 4-3. So So 2 developed, severe style, implicating China. Club could be C, I think. I'm not sure that's accurate. I think clubs is C in poker or in cards, and that club technically isn't, but it could be, and then the anagram of 2 would come afterwards, but I don't see. It feels for all the world like it's going to be town something. TOW would be the 2. Severe style, implicating China. I mean, and the whole thing means club. I don't know. Do not know. 4 down. I'm going to have to get something happening because we don't have any other anything to go on apart from this 4 down, which I hadn't looked at. So at large thrown, unfazed. 2, 3, 3. On the run. Got that just from definition. To be at large is to be on the run. Thrown, unfazed. On the right. Yeah. So this is another one of these quirky things. So thrown and un is an anagram of on the run. Phased is then acting as an anagram indicator on that. Tricky business. Now we have a T on the end here. I'm reluctant to come back to that right now because my mind's probably still addled by my previous incorrect thoughts. Scoundrel gets a Canada liqueur. Yeah, I just don't know my. Oh yeah, so I think it's this, something like this. The scoundrel will be a cur. A is A, and Canada. I'm not sure where the O is coming from. Could be that, but the O is definitely right for loose ends. I feel like this is the name of a liqueur. And why Canada in quotes? Maybe it's not an A. Well, let's have a look at this one too, because each point conveys one gem. I did think per for each point conveys one, and then the whole thing meaning gem. So we need a word for probably a word for point without the letter I in it, that has a D in it. Hmm. 14. Tax song. Dang. We got 40 minutes. I may actually take a break in a second and come back later in the day. It often is easier once you've cleared your mind of all of its misdirections. But I'll power on for a second. Boozer's breaks say for booze. I think it's schnapps. That's a very cool clue. So to break is to snap. But if you're drunk, if you're a boozer, you might pronounce snap, schnapp. I think that's what that's suggesting. Say would be a homophone indicator, boozer giving us the kind of type of mispronunciation. It's kind of like an accent-based clue, like a Cockney clue, but for boozers. Yeah, that's got to be correct, even if my passing's not completely accurate. But I think that's basically what's happening. Playing. Don't really have much else to go on now. 3 down, I didn't look at a second time, so let's... Fleeing Fog. Chemist is Collected by Comrade in Chopper. Gosh. Chemist. Ah. Well, I definitely know where this is starting off. And Chopper is going to be the definition. A machete. Ah, awesome. So, so a chopper is a machete. A comrade is a mate, M-A-T-E, around the outside of C-H-E. So C-H-E, chemist is collected by a mate. But so we get the C-H-E from here, but why not the mist? Because the fog, which is also the mist, has fled. So flog flees chemist for ch, or for C-H-E. That's been collected by mate. Gives us chopper. Beautiful. Club. Oh, well, we've got it all happening now. What on earth is this? Is it a town cat or something? Cut. Cat. It's got to be cut or cat. It's a club, might have something to do with cutting. Implicating China. Severe style. So if that is town, well, if it's toad, I think it has to be town. So town cat. Well, in this case, the severe style would be N-A-T, implicating C for China, maybe C-A, I'm not sure. But severe style, I don't understand. But if this T is right at the beginning, then one down might be easier. High countries, tip-top, baloney. One across really should be gettable. And I have no idea why town cat is right either. One down also feels like I should be able to get it. Just need another word for baloney. High could be aloft. Don't know. Do not know. And if that was aloft, no, it's not aloft, so there's no point thinking about that. Alright, I'm gonna take a break and might come back later on. Alrighty, so part 2. And a couple of things have happened. One was that I was driving along and suddenly dawned on me that with 25 across, there was this question about why book would mean read. And I think you can say that you can say of a book that it was a good read. And I suspect that in that sense, read and book are synonymous. And so that, I think, satisfies me that that is the answer there. The second thing is that just as I was setting this up to start again, I was looking at this weird one across and realized that the word totem pole fit in here. Now, and I had a look at the wordplay and thought, this will be correct. I didn't know the sense of totem pole as hierarchy. I guess maybe that's just a kind of a figurative use of the term. But wrongly took is stole, Tole, which is, Tole, stole is wrongly took. The leader's being removed, giving us Tole. And then we're going to keep inside of that a word for pace, which is tempo. So hierarchy must mean totem pole. So that's all I figured out just now, but we can continue on now, hopefully with more luck, with 1 down and therefore 9 across. High country's tip top baloney. What if Tibet? So high country is Tibet. Tip top is the T, and baloney, I bet. So I guess I bet is used as a kind of ironic way of saying, or a sarcastic way of saying you don't believe something. Yeah, I think that must be what it is. And the B here, this is a bowl cut. 9 across. Club 2 developed, severe style implicating China. There can't be much else that it could be. There is a thing called a bowl cut, right? So it's got the TWO. Oh, in fact, it's got, it's just club and, it's club and the word two developed. It never crossed my mind that club was part of the anagram. Severe style implicating China. Okay, so the hairstyle, the bowl cut must be associated with kind of Chinese authoritarianism, or just China generally. So those dominoes fell pretty quickly once I had the T in place. Now 6 down. This is now back to square one because I haven't got any further thoughts on these. Each point conveys 1 gem. I really like the idea of point, carrying a word for 1 and then gem. Then it would mean each, so that doesn't really look very good. 3-legged race is correct. Actually, I don't know for certain that's an R. I just was assuming. Ooh, hang on. Yeah, be careful with that. Because I never really fully passed this one. So if we went with the point idea, still got to mean each, which is not likely. Each point conveys 1. Could be pont. And a gem. That's still going to need to mean each, and if that's what we're looking at. And I suppose that, what was it, something to do with a scoundrel? Could be a con. Panadol. Panadol fits as a word, but I don't think, unless Panadol somehow means gem. Point could be P. Oh, hang on. What I haven't also... Oh, no, there's no... I was thinking for a second it could be an anagram of 1 gem plus the P, but unless three-legged race is slightly wrong. Is it three? Is it another way of putting that? Three-legger? Well, let's consider that for a second. And we don't have an R in the anagram anyway. Wow. And I think it's three-legged. Sorry. I've got a phone call, but I'll come back to that. Scoundrel gets a Canada liqueur. And with the O on the end, I don't think I ever came to an understanding of what that was. Canada maybe has some other meaning I don't know. So I'm not sure about this. Is there a word for scoundrel that starts with C and ends in O? Let's say Canada was A. So you got A for A, and then Canada is either C or maybe CN. Oh, no. What am I thinking of? Is it cilantro or something? So forget about the end, but anyway, we would need either a 4 or a 5-letter word meaning scoundrel, starting in C and ending in O. And I can't see it. Right, like a crook. Is there anything telling us? I mean, the whole thing, scoundrel could be the definition, I suppose, but it seems unlikely. Tempted to look up curacao. I think that's wrong though. I think I'm confusing that with like a place name, like, is it Caracas or something like that? One of the places in Papillon, which is a brilliant book if you've not come across it. 14. Tax song. I mean, this either is an R or an I, and probably unlikely to be another letter. Well, refrain. Strain. Wow, that is a pretty tricky one to find. So to tax is to strain, and a song is also a strain. I think I would always have thought of the word strain meaning sound rather than song. The strains of such and such a singer. I think that always connoted for me the sound of their voice rather than their songs, but that must be, I think that's pretty likely to be correct. Now, 6 down. Well, we do have P and T. Interesting. Which would suggest that we are conveying one gem in here. Maybe the one, I mean, can't be there for, I don't think the one could be a filler word, or it might be unfair cluing if it was. So it seems to suggest an I to me, but then this all has to mean each. What's this? A E I E would make the most sense from the point of view of a word that would mean it could be Y, I suppose. A word that would mean a gem. I thought this was an R, so now we would have this structure. No idea. Or an N was my other. 20 down. I think after this I might abandon hope and do some searching. Stages, crafts, or cycles. To stage something is to host it, or a leg of something is a stage. Level, to put something on, to fake something, is to stage it. So for something, to pretend, to mock, to recreate. Crafts, arts. This could be a particular craft. Could be a boat of some sort, or just a vehicle, I guess. A boat. Well. I thought for a second or cycles could just be or. Going backward. Oh, hang on, the whole thing going backwards. Here we go. So stages. So we need a word for rostra. Wow. So crafts is arts, or is or. All of that going backwards is rostra, which will be the plural of rostrum, which is a stage. And now we get archetype. Hey. So what is that clue? I'm pretty sure it's going to be archetype. Model being archetype. Strode out of bounds. Right, so marched is strode. Without its boundary letters is arch-E. And to use a keyboard is to type. Wow, I really didn't think I was going to get those. Holy cow. Well, 15 down. Well, now I'm more motivated to go back up to the top as well, because it's only, well, this one surely is solvable now. It is, because eclectic fits, and that means varied. And thrilling is electric. Electric with without its R, outright, and gripping the top letter of chart for C, giving us the extra C. And I'd been thinking of exciting before, and that didn't fit, but or didn't work with the wordplay to get us to another word, but electric does. Great. It just shows how, if I'd sat here for another half an hour earlier, I don't think I would have gotten anywhere with those. And you come back with having disabused yourself of silly notions, and you get somewhere. But this one has resisted that trend, or these two. Pupil, no question. Three-legged, maybe could be an R, I'm not sure. Strain, I'm certain is correct. I'm close to certain. Pac-Man, would have to be wrong for pupil to be wrong. And I don't think Pac-Man is wrong. So now we're looking for either a word that means each or each point, or a word that means gem. I think it's a gem that I don't know the word for, that I've not seen before, or is very obscure. So what if it is per? Hang on, what about per? This could be a really odd word, but per for each, then point. Is that a word? Oh, have I missed a letter there? No, the D. Where does the D come from? So each is per, point is the PT, conveying one. So that would have to be a word that meant one. If that was an R, I don't think it's any better. Man, that felt interesting. Hang on, what if each point, still, no matter how I arrange this, I still need something to point to the D. Well, okay, what about per? Then a word for point without the one, which forms this final bit. What's likely to be this letter? A feels kind of like a plausible structure for some sort of gem. E, I guess as well, and there's not really much. That's it. So each is per, point is dot, and one is in the middle, and a gem must be a peridot or peridot, or however you say that. I almost put money on that at this point. That just seems too implausible to be wrong, and it looks like a word. Wow. I think the first thing I thought about when I saw this clue at the beginning of the solve was the word per, and then I just gave that up, and then I was obsessed with this PT being point. It's a bit silly that I didn't consider. Well, yeah, there were so many things misleading me. Point conveying the one might mean that it was kind of like on a conveyor, like taking it away, and so that, and then the PT, and right. So maybe this is what I was saying. So I think the scoundrel is a cur. Gets A, and then Canada liqueur. Maybe that CAO is in some way I've got to think about this in terms of DA's chicanery, because maybe one of these words, like Canada, needs to be treated as more than one word. Wow, it's interesting. You've got gets I mean, maybe I should look it up to confirm that it's even correct. Let's do that first. Oh, well, it is a country. interesting. So there is a country called that. That's the right spelling, right? Can you guys see this well enough? So it is the South American country. Yeah, that's the very one I was thinking. But does it have another? There it is, Curacao liqueur. Damn, you guys can't see the image there. How do I? Let's see if I can make this happen for you. Well, let's bring this forward. Hold on. Customer's always right. There it is. So we have this lovely blue looking poison. Now, so then the question is, well, let's have a think about what the question is. For one, is it Canadian? And I don't see that reference, so liqueur will just be the definition. So then where's the O? Because unless, so CAO would have to mean Canada. Hello, interrupting old Jordan with future Jordan, and I'm about to embark in the video on a long-winded explanation of how 10 across works, which surprisingly it almost does according to a completely different theory to what was actually intended. So you can continue with that, but I thought I should correct the record here because I had concluded that this clue was a little bit wonky, and you'll see how I got to that point. But actually, what's happening here with these final letters is well, it's a bit of chicanery that I alluded to in what's to come, but never put it together. So a scoundrel is a cur. That's uncontroversial. Letter A is A, and then you've got this CAO, which I think is pronounced cow. And I'm about to embark on a long description of why Canada and cow are homophonically synonymous, which is almost it almost works, but actually this is classic DA, where we've got Canada being treated as two words, CA and nada. So the CA is just the CA in the answer, and nada is the O for nothing. So I'm a little frustrated with myself because I did think, you'll see I say, maybe we need to split this word in two, but the penny didn't drop. Anyway, so in the end, I think that is putting aside some people's objections to that kind of chicanery. I think that's a really nice clue. But here I go with the less plausible but still vaguely sensible description of how it might have worked. Let's have a look. CAO Canada. Well, no. CA Canada. See, CA makes sense. It's the domain, it's the TLD for Canada, it looks like. So then the question is there a mistake in the clue? Well, maybe a scoundrel can be a curo. No, that's Latin for caring for something. Am I just being silly here, or is there a mistake? Scoundrel gets a Canada. I think I'm going to have to leave that. I mean, how many times can you look at the clue? There's just... Wow, I'm just wondering about those quotation marks around Canada. You could use quotation marks as a homophone indicator. How are we pronouncing those letters? I think cow would make sense. Well, is there a type of cow called a Canada cow? This is the kind of thing you have to ask yourself. Oh, are you serious? Well, what is the name of the Canadian? There's a Canadian cattle. Once again, I should expand this so you can see what I'm saying. There she is, the Canadian heifer. Now, that I'm actually almost certain that is what it is now, because why else would you have the quotation marks and the question mark? I mean, that's very tricky. I don't know how I feel about that clue, because unless it's called a Canada cow, you've got to go from Canada to that meaning Canadian, and in fact, well, I suppose it was developed in Canada, so no, but there's no reference to cow in the clue. So if it said Canada beef or something, then you could make the leap to Canadian or whatever. But to read Canada as meaning the word cow and then spelling it differently, and the article here seems not to refer to them as Canada. They're called Canadian cattle. Interesting. I mean, that's what's happening, but I don't know. Wow, here we go, the Canadian cow. Well, that doesn't want to exist, but there is reference to a Canadian cow. It's getting closer to Canada. A day in the life of a Canadian dairy cow. I mean, that might just be any cow in Canada. Wowzers. Canada cow meat. Canada beef. We put the best of Canada in our beef. Okay. Yeah, look, I won't waste any more time, but let me just move that back. Yeah, so there we go. Quite the puzzle. Not gonna lie, I probably, well, so I've just spent another half an hour now, and I think the first portion was 45 minutes or 50 minutes. I'm pretty sure I will have edited this down from your point of view, so that gives you an idea of how long it actually took me. And I really enjoyed that. I mean, I'm pleased to have actually troubleshot to the point of actually solving the puzzle. Some really interesting words: rostra, curacao, peridot, totem pole, which obviously I know the term, but not in that sense. Yeah, was there something else a bit unusual? Did I ever understand 22 down? Grammar topic. Yeah, I just solved grammar topic as tense, showing 14 across, showing strain. If you're showing strain, then you're tense. So actually that might have been a way of getting me to the answer of 14 across if I'd realized that was happening. So there we go. And I think maybe my favorite clue was machete. There was something cool about that, wasn't it? Yeah, fleeing fog out of chemist, collected by mate for a chopper. A lot of misdirection and chicanery in there. Well, chicanery is a strong word. Just tricky wordplay. So there we go. Thank you so much for sticking this out with me, and my first foray into the world of DA on a live solve. I hope it wasn't extremely tedious, only just mildly. And thank you to David for setting the puzzle. Much appreciated. Bonce was another word I don't think that I otherwise would have known. And I will see you all again for the next video soon. Take good care.